Hey everybody! What is LalaTV? Well, LalaTV is everything and everything in between when it comes to business talks and features and all the key learnings you need to know. And of course, this is hosted solely by IWFCIM. Our initiative is definitely to get more people into the conversation, and you may actually get some spill tea moments with these amazing, incredible people. So we're looking forward to seeing everyone, and hopefully we'll see more things to come. Thank you!
All right. Hi, everybody, to another segment of LalaTV. And today we have someone that most people are familiar with in our community, who happens to be Gina. So Gina's going to share a little bit more about herself, and I'm going to give her the floor to tell you a little bit what she's been up to, where she's began, and everything in between. Go ahead, Gina. It's all yours.
Hi, thanks for inviting me. Well, I mean, this was kind of last minute, so I guess I'll just tell you, a little bit about myself first. Well, where do I begin? I actually don't really know, but I'll just tell you where I am at in life right now first. I'm already, as you can see, a senior citizen, almost, yeah.
No.
Mother of 3 adult girls, a wife, a sister, a friend, and I've had a very, I would say, rewarding career. Obviously, there were bumps along the way, but I had a rewarding career in general, and I was working in, 9 to 5. Well, there's no such thing as 9 to 5. It's like 9 to 9, 9 to 10. Right. So, I went up the corporate ladder. I'm glad to have that kind of experience. And in about 2015 or so, I decided to make a change. And right now, I am a solopreneur. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, okay. Entrepreneur by working solo, right? And I'm a freelance trainer, and I do soft skills training so that I can help people, just improve on their soft skills, skills that I used to practice, during my career. So I guess that's where I am at now. I mean, that's just a little bit about myself.
Thanks,
Hope
Gina.
I didn't bore you with it, Lala.
No, of course not. But it comes to a really interesting question that I have, because you were saying that, you went through the corporate ladder and now you are in a position where you're doing different things already.
Mhm.
But I was kind of sneaking around your portfolio and I realized that you majored in computer science.
Yes, I did.
That is very different than what you're doing now. So how did you make it a decision for yourself to go out from that, that kind of pillar? Because computer science is really different. It's kind of a total different universe in comparison to how you're dealing with people now. So what made you take that leap of faith?
Well, okay. This is kind of like an FAQ, right? So you come from the science world,
Yeah.
where you're doing soft skills training and and things like that, right? Well, when I first started, armed with a computer science degree, I became a software developer, right? I was a geek. All right. And back in those days, it's pre-internet days,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So things
Yes.
were very different. And I got, throughout my career, I had opportunities, doors that were open for me, and they were kind of accidental. A lot of things happened to me are pretty accidental, right? It was
Destiny.
not part of the plan.
Yeah.
Totally not part of the plan, but doors were open for me, or there were doors, there were opportunities that were there, and somehow my career took a very different path. So from a software developing geek, right, I went into product specialization, and then I went into the more of the business aspect of things, and I went into management. And although I was still in the software industry for all those years, I was more. I wasn't a geek anymore.
Totally
I still
changed.
geek. I still geek until today, but I didn't do those kind of things anymore. And throughout this whole time, right, I had to make sure that I had to balance out my left brain and my right brain.
Yeah. For
right?
sure.
Things like communication skills, right? Things like public speaking, business presentation. I still had to use my left brain in terms of problem solving and making decisions, critical thinking. I still had to do that, but to be successful in the position that I was in my career, I had to balance out my left brain and my right brain. So in 2015, when I say decided to make a change, I was at a crossroad. Like, what do I do? Do I continue being in
Yeah.
IT, or do I want to do something else? And I wasn't very sure. So I started talking to friends and I will ask them like, hey, what do you think I should be doing? Because I'm not the type who can retire, stay home, cook and
Mhm.
clean and sew and knit.
I don't think any of us can, but sure.
I'm just nodding. I'm not. I know some people are really good at it. I really admire them, but I know who I am.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I know what brings me satisfaction. So somebody was saying that why don't you become a trainer and but actually you say what do you like most when you were working? What do you miss most, right? I wish you had more time for it and things like that. But I said, well, I miss doing sharing knowledge, sharing the skills, helping people, because the satisfaction is a very different thing,
Yeah.
when you are able to help people, right? No, but you can't buy it with money, that kind of satisfaction,
That's
right?
true.
And as I became as I was in a leadership position, I had so many things to do. Firefighting was like a
Oh, yeah.
daily thing, right? So you don't have time to do all that, so a friend of mine said, why don't you become a trainer? And I said, yeah, why not, right? And then I asked my former colleagues, I said, hey guys, what was I good at, right? Right? Sometimes we have blind spots, right? So they say, yeah, you have quite pretty good communicating skills. I say, yeah, why not we do that? So I started it with my eye, I started going into this with my eyes open to
Mm.
say that, hey, this is something new for me. Don't set yourself up, don't set too
Yeah.
high
Correct.
expectation and things like that. And also, I think, we all have goals in life,
Yeah.
but goals change,
So
right?
true.
Goals can
So true.
change, and they do change, right? That there could be some big goals that will never change, but along the way there could be the smaller goals that can change, right?
Yeah.
So I had come to the point in life where I'm looking for different things already,
Mhm.
at this stage. So I said, yeah, okay, why don't I try to become a trainer? So the first thing I had to do was to learn on how to become a trainer. So I spent like a year in getting my certification and talking to people,
Yeah.
looking for new mentors, and things like that. And I went in, and it was quite scary in the beginning. Let me
Wouldn't be
tell you that.
surprised. It's a new thing altogether, right?
It is, and obviously, I'm not sure about you, Lala, but I'm the fear of failure is very great in me.
Oh, everyone is.
Yeah,
If you have a tinge of failure in anything, no matter what. Cooking
yeah,
also got
and
failure problems.
yeah, no, nobody wants to feel like a failure, right?
Correct, correct.
So yeah, so it was like and at this age, right, it is quite tough because obviously I'm no longer a spring chicken. I don't have the energy of a spring chicken anymore, right? Right? And to feel like a failure at this age as well is like, oh
Uh,
no, right?
it's like double whammy, right? So why try to suck
Yeah,
it,
so
right?
it was, so I took I was careful about it. I would say so I don't try to bite off more than I can chew and things like that, So okay lah, so I just tried it, but I have to say that it has been very rewarding. Yeah, initially, obviously, just like anything else, when you start something new, it's going to be slow. You're going to make mistakes, and things like that. So that was quite normal. I knew. I mean, with life experience, I know what was ahead for me, right? Right? So yeah, so that's how I started, so I
Very
know it's
interesting.
quite a strange, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that
geek to balance both left
it's
and right.
totally different, right? Because usually, even for us, at least for me, when I started off, I said, okay, I'm going to study this this subject, I'm going to graduate, I'm going to go into this road and not go anywhere else. Because that's what you think at that point. You don't have the foresight to see what's ahead. But
that's right.
But you
But
pointed
you
out,
know, what I learned is like,
Yeah.
you know, when there's an opportunity, just
Go for
consider it.
right? Agree.
I'm not the go for it type, right? yeah. But
Calculated
consider it.
risk. Calculated risk is there.
Just, you know, look at it, consider it,
Yeah.
and learn about it, and then only make your final decision, you know, right?
And you pointed out a really great point is that as you progress and you learn more, you know more, you change what you want. You don't stick to that one thing because there's a possibility you want something else, right? So if you could tell your younger self, this is it's a question I ask all the time because there are things that I would have told myself a long time ago. Number one is if there's a mistake that you've made, move on faster because you don't like to stick in the past. But for yourself, what would be a career advice to your younger self when you first started off?
My career advice. I don't know actually. This is something that I have made so many mistakes along the way. I think I can pick up the whole time, 1 hour. Then
She's like
2
so
hours,
humble.
then it goes.
She's like so humble. So I made so many mistakes. It's fine.
Maybe I would have been more smarter and wiser to choose who I date.
That's important for a woman. That is very important. Wasting time, money, it affects everything, right?
Yeah, but the other thing is, I think I would advise my biggest advice for myself, for my younger self,
Yep.
would be to spend more time and energy to invest in relationships. I think
Totally
all
agree,
kinds of
totally
relationship, whether it's business, whether it's with your colleagues, with family, with friends, and all that. To have spent more time to build up more relationships. It's not easy because once you get married and young kids, you start a family, there's not much time and all that, right? Yeah. So, but I could see there were times where I wasted my time doing things that, as well.
Not as
I think that would
rewarding.
be I think that would be my biggest advice to myself. Yeah.
I think a lot of entrepreneurs specifically go through this because you are the business person, you are also the PA, you are also the finance person, and you have your KPI set that it's always very, very structured for you to achieve your goals, and you get lost in all of that. So totally understand. And yes, relationships are actually the building blocks for your whole internal ecosystem to withstand whatever chaos that comes by, right?
Yeah.
And I like the fact that, because I was also checking out your program list, there are 3 different programs, basically 3 different segments that you focus on. But in that list, which is your favorite topic when it comes to sharing with people?
Oh, that's like asking me which one is my favorite daughter.
Okay, be honest, which is your favorite daughter?
They're all my babies, right?
Yeah,
So I go through this cycle, right? But I have to admit I'm also at the stage where I'm also asking myself whether I should focus more on certain things or not. Because I go through this cycle, I will run one program and say, oh, I like this, and then I run the next program again, right? And I know I also like this. I'm doing this, so I enjoy all of them actually. So
Really?
it's very difficult for me to choose. Actually, it's very difficult for me to choose. I would think, I mean, if you force me to choose, I think I can't choose just one, really. But I really like the presentation skills and storytelling course that I run. And I also like the problem solving one. That's the more critical thinking, creative thinking type of things. Then there's also negotiation. Negotiation because the flavor of my negotiation course, yeah,
Mhm.
is basically a relationship building course
Okay.
style in
Okay.
negotiation, not so much of a clash of wills
Mm.
type of style. So I also like that, yeah, as well. So yeah, it's really difficult for me to choose.
I like that part, leading up to the negotiation one, because we don't learn that usually in universities. We don't. Like for me, when I was in marketing, we learn about convincing people to buy stuff and everything. But in the real world, negotiation is actually one of the key things that you need to know, be it sales, marketing, social media, customer service, anything, because that is the key to the kingdom. So
Yeah.
when it comes to that, what would be your tip for, say, a lady out there who wants to negotiate for something she deserves in the workplace? It's a topic I bring up because in Malaysia we are actually we don't really give the opportunities to women as much as we want to. There are some great ones which I really respect, but if say somebody or an individual lady would like to negotiate for something she wants, what should she do, or what should she consider opening up the topic with her superiors or her boss or her colleagues?
Okay. Well, uh, that question, it's kind of tricky, right? Whatever answer I give you is a general answer. And when you generalize, you're always wrong. Because there will be specific cases where it doesn't apply. All right, so that's my disclaimer.
Okay, that is a very good disclaimer. It's like a cryptocurrency disclaimer.
Yeah,
It's
so
like,
it will apply in some situation, and of course there'll be certain situations where you have to adapt it. So
Yeah.
whoever's listening in, please don't take my
pinch of
you know,
salt.
I mean,
Pinch of
just
salt there.
yeah. So discern whether it can be applied in your situation. I think uh, the first thing I like to say, since this is a women's group, right? This is a women's group. Is women need to really know, yeah, that being assertive is not a bad thing.
Okay.
Unfortunately, again, yeah, I'm generalizing.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, ladies in our Asian culture, we grew up in a culture where there are expectations for ladies not to be vocal
Yeah.
or not as vocal as men, and sometimes we feel bad when we want to
Yeah.
say when we want to state what we want, right?
Yeah.
So we try to soften it, right? We try to soften it. So that's the first thing, is from the inside. We have to know what we want, and we have to know that saying what we want, yeah, is not a bad thing. Right? We just need to learn how to say it. Yeah. The second thing is, of course, look at what we want, and why we want it. All right. Because we have to be fair, men or women, we have to be fair. We want the world, we want everything, right?
True.
If given the choice, we will take everything, we will want everything, right?
Yeah.
But is it fair to the other party or not? All right, when I say fair, what I mean is it fair to the whole ecosystem even? All right, let's say in the case of a workplace, is it fair for the company and the people who you work with, right? Is there a standard, a benchmark? There has to be some form of fairness and equality in the ecosystem, all right? So that's the second one, and the third one is to learn how to ask for what we want, without getting over emotional about it. All right. And in learning how to ask what we want, we also need to, let's say, in a very typical situation of asking our boss for a raise. All right. You ask the boss, what is he looking for? Yeah. A raise or promotion, for example. What is he looking for when he fills this promotion? Fills this position. What kind of people is he looking for? What kind of skills or things that is he looking for when he's talking about whether about increasing a salary for somebody and all. So to understand what he's looking for and where he's coming from. All right. And to be honest, and of course you have to assess yourself whether you are able to do it, and most of the time, yeah, and sometimes we are able to do it, right? So then you can very casually, not casually, very calmly say that you feel you qualify, for that position, or you qualify for a raise, and ask him if he agrees, if he or she agrees, and if he or she doesn't agree, ask them where the gap is.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Don't take it personally. All right, but if it's agreed already, then when you meet the benchmark, then you should be able to to say, yeah, it's time for me to give, it's time for me to get a raise, or time for me to apply for that, for the position, and things like that. Because don't always look at the other party, whatever we are negotiating on, whatever, don't look at the other person as the enemy, But if the thing is this, we expect somehow, I don't know why, a lot of us women, we expect people to read our minds. Even though we don't say it, right?
Yeah, we expect empathy, like, you should know that I'm overworked without me telling
Yeah, you should know that I'm overworked, right? And things like that. But frankly speaking, no. Even me as a woman leader at one point, right? Sometimes I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? I should, but I'm only, we have to understand that everybody is human, right?
For sure. I that's the thing, when women work, we tend to be like how we are at home. We don't want people to worry about us, so we look really calm and we're going through it, but deep down we're just like, can the person not see that there's so much things going on? And that's where the communication breakdown happens, right, most of the time. Negotiation is important in this point of time, right?
So just stating very calmly what you want. And then sometimes we say, I need help. Why isn't anybody helping me? The thing is, we are not helping people to help us. We are not telling people what kind of help we need.
Yeah, true.
Be specific. You don't have, I had to learn this also, right? I mean, the reason I'm saying all this is because I was guilty of all these things as well, right? You should know I need help, right? It's only logical, right?
Yeah, we go through this.
People don't know how to help us unless we tell them, what kind of help we want or we need, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm just sharing from my own experience, guys, ladies, right? Again, I'm overgeneralizing here, right? It really is something that I learned. That we have to help people to help us.
Agree. Totally.
And when you have got relationships and you build up your relationships, people are more than happy to help. They just need to know how to help.
Correct.
Yeah.
But speaking of that part of it, right? Because currently we are in post-pandemic. I wouldn't say endemic just yet, because we still have that lot of things that are going on. But in your opinion, in terms of business requirements, or in your trainings and the things that you do, what has changed after the whole pandemic?
It's difficult to say. You know why? We are still on shifting ground.
Yeah,
things are still moving. In the Malaysian context, I think everything was kind of on hold for 2 years, right? And suddenly, it's like a floodgate.
Yeah.
And if we are not careful, we are trying to make too many changes in one go.
Yeah.
Too fast, right? Why I say it's in Malaysian context, I think there are a lot of different policies that are being rolled out, by different agencies and things like that, and people are adapting, right? And one of the things that I am not very happy about, is this: people think it's back to normal. What they mean by normal is pre-pandemic, all right. So they are throwing, they are not adhering to SOPs, things, simple things like sanitizing and masking up.
Yeah.
People are starting to forget to do that,
Mhm.
right? And like I say, and this is a very big risk. It's a very big risk.
Sure.
It comes in waves. We haven't managed to control it to a point where we can stop the wave from coming. Right now, when we are talking, we just happen to be going at the low end.
Yeah.
But the wave is unless there's something new happens, right?
Yeah.
Like a new type of vaccine, or we know how we really know how to kill the virus. All right. Uh, you know. We should expect another wave to come, right? I mean, thank
Sure.
God we have had the vaccination,
Yep.
and it's not so critical anymore.
Yep.
But your productivity, let's say your production lines and all this is going to be affected when the wave go up again, and it's going to be up and down until something has changed. I hope during the lockdowns, I was happy with one thing, which is people are cleaner in a sense, right? You go into a restaurant, people observe all the cleanliness, and even the local coffee shops are cleaner and things like that. And I hope that continues. I don't know lah. I don't know
I'm
whether
sure. Hopefully. I mean, we gotta be positive about it. But do you think as an entrepreneur, right, or a solopreneur, do you feel that now more than ever you actually rely on digital interaction, and do you think it's something that you're actually going to adapt moving forward?
I mean, I'm from IT, right? I've gone digital even pre-pandemic.
There you go. You're well prepared.
So going into digitalization was not a problem for me. I love it. I love it that I can do e-banking, e-wallets. I can apply for certain permits and renew my passport. And, I love doing things online. All right, partly because I hate the traffic jams.
Everyone does.
The waiting queues, right? So the good thing about this is people are starting to accept doing things the digital way.
Yeah.
Having meetings virtually. Although now I see a lot of people say for me in training, a lot of people are starting to say I want to go back face-to-face training. Virtual training remote, is not as effective. There are pros and cons, of course.
For sure.
But I think people need to also. I think it's good because let's say we have a regional team. I think it makes sense to do things virtually. To have your meetings virtually.
Yeah, I've never seen half of my team because some are based in Vietnam and Philippines. So for us, the only way that we create this bond is that on important meetings we actually like turn on our cameras and like there you see my face instead of being digital. Yeah. But productivity, it works. It still works.
Yeah, I mean, I used to work for an American company, and most of my colleagues are in the US, in Europe, in India, in Australia. And but guess what? We only see each other like 2 times a year.
Yeah.
Sorry. or maybe the international ones, maybe once every 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, and we still are able to get work done.
Yeah.
We still are able to build, relationships and bonds, right? Of course, we didn't have Zoom then, but we had, older versions of the virtual meetings and all that, and it works, right?
For sure. I mean, there's always a solution somewhere. It's whether you want to or not.
Yeah, it's not the technology actually. It's the attitude. Yeah,
all right. Moving on to the topic that we both kind of dread, which is the first thing you mentioned, that nobody likes failure. Right? No one. I think as much as we try to pacify that failure is part of the process, nobody really wants to go through it. So what would you advise a person that's going through a failed project or is in a tough time dealing with these kind of things? current recessions or things that people are talking about that's happening in the business world, how would you do it, or how would you go through it based on the experience that you've gone through?
Oh, that's a very loaded question. Yeah.
Yes, it's very serious now.
Okay, all right. Let's not make it so serious. Since you have something on your head, I don't really care. Yes. Well, why don't I put a ribbon on my side?
Oh, there we go. There we go. Matching with your top. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, failure. Yeah, I mean, that's inevitable. Yeah, we feel big, we feel small sometimes, but you know, every now and then, yeah, we would come across times where it's difficult.
Mhm.
I wouldn't call it failure. First of all, I think maybe reframe, right? And don't call it failure, right? Uh, I mean, well, that was kind of if I look at failure, um, first of all, is of course how to if you take calculated risk, and which every step of the way you weigh in the pros and cons. You are always very mindful of your journey, right? Of your journey. Then the chances of failure may not be there, but there'll be times where you never know, right? Who would have expected a pandemic to last for 2 years, right?
Oh yeah,
That's
true.
Yeah. When it was so fast, it was like overnight, right?
Yeah, I thought it was 2 weeks. I was naive. I was like, yes, I'll see my colleagues in 2 weeks. 2 years later.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I think and things I don't know. There's no one answer for this kind of things. First of all, I think the wisdom of our parents and our grandparents, is always save for a rainy day. So make sure, whether it's money or anything else, make sure we put aside resources, for things like that. Yeah, don't put all your eggs in one basket. All right. And be very realistic that things will always change. Your situations will always change. Yeah, and sometimes you never know what hits you. Don't be like me when I play chess. You know how I play chess? The game of chess?
Yeah.
I only know how to attack, I do not know what's coming behind me.
At least you know.
Alright. Because you're so focused on that, and then people will tell you focus on your goals, focus on your target, right? And then you don't let anything distract you, right? Sometimes don't take that 100%. Don't take I can't advise 100%. You need to be aware of what's happening behind you. That kind of thing. Yeah, you still need goals. You still work towards the goals, but don't be aware that there are a lot of things that are outside of your control. Yes, that one you have to be ready for it. But there are things that are actually within your control. Yes, you have zoomed in on your goal, but you may need to take detours every now and then.
Yeah.
And when required, take the detour. It's not failure. It's not failure. It may delay you a bit, but maybe you'll reach higher grounds if you have taken the detour.
Sure.
Right?
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
Nothing is ever lost one. All experiences you can build. Yeah.
I think as people progress, with be it career or even in age or in wisdom, you tend to realize that the roads that lead you to where you are is never straight. It's never going to be like, this is success. And everybody likes the end story. Everybody likes, this person is already got family, there's a house, there's a home, but they don't see the other things that you went through. Like, no way can anyone see a person at first glance what they go through. So I agree with that for sure. And yes, we've all had a tough time during pandemic, but being mentally strong and having that support system, I think, got most of us through all of that, right?
Well, there's one thing I learned a few years ago. I realized a few years ago is people talk about happiness, right?
Yeah.
You know, happiness. And all the things that we want, is because we feel we're going to be happy, when we get it.
Yeah.
So we look at happiness as a destination,
Yeah.
right? I have realized happiness is the journey. Find happiness in your journey,
Yep.
right? Until the Almighty says your journey ends.
Yeah.
Just find happiness in the journey.
That's
And that's
true.
good because you know why? When it's the journey, a journey means you're moving, right? You're moving. So when you continue to move, you continue to improve, you continue to learn, you continue to upgrade yourself. You just continue. It's the journey.
Yeah. I like that part, where you say that we sometimes put a physical thing to happiness, be it I want a house, I want a car, I want to get married, I want to do something, but it's that journey and that experience. And unfortunately, I'm very proud of being a Malaysian, and I have been in government schools all my life, but I do remember all the time getting drilled like, you need your all A's, you need all A's to get a good job. If not, you're going to be a penyapu sampah. I'm like, huh? And I recall that someone was like saying, oh yeah, if you get this, you'll never succeed in life. But it's so cookie cut story. When I grew up and I started to see all these other people and their journeys that they went through, you're like, all of this assumption that people put on you is should be taken with a pinch of salt. Because like you said, every journey has its bittersweet moments, and the happiness comes from knowing where you come from or how you did it on your own.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So in the journey, there will of course be failures, right? I just look at it as barriers and all. But one thing, I have also recently learned is fail forward.
That's a new term for me.
Yes.
I will need to do that.
Right. So in anything, there's always a lesson to learn. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure.
I mean, if you look at all the business, let's talk about business. Right? Business leaders, right? All of them have failed before.
That is legit true. Yes.
Big but the reason why they continue to lead is because they learn a lesson and they try, and they start all over again and things like that.
Alrighty. So let's move on from this really dark topic. We want to talk on the last question that I have for you. So you are basically part of Zinfinity Consulting, right? And you're also part of IWFCIM, has a secretary. So maybe share a little bit of your experience being with this amazing group of women who have different journeys, stories, businesses, and what you want other ladies to know about the community.
Oh, thanks for that question. Again, I told you everything happened to me by accident, right?
I want to know this accident.
So I one day, somebody just invited me for an event. I said, let's just come for this event. I said, oh yeah, okay, the kind of thing, right? And in the event, I met a few ladies, right, from IWFCIM, and somehow, I don't know why, somehow even on that day, the first time I met them, I'm like, oh, I think this can be my tribe.
Like-minded, right?
I don't know. There's certain values, the kind of thing that we shared or something, that kind of thing. So I was very attracted to it. But if I were to analyze it, is because there was this very supportive supportive culture, non-judgmental, and most of all, non-competitive among ourselves, among the ladies. We were not, even though there were other trainers, as well, but support. We don't look at each other as competition. All right, and very and things like that. Yeah, so I was very attracted to it. And so I continued, I wasn't a member. I continued to attend more sessions and programs and things like that. We had fun. And being ladies, there's always food involved.
Yes, they have the best food all the time.
And that's one of my passions, right? Who can say no to food, right?
Exactly.
So, and there were people from different industries, different backgrounds and all, and then supporting each other, and we learn from each other and things like that. And because we are very open, even though some of them were like, these are new friends for me, I could open up all my, I could share with them, at that point in time, I was, a new trainer and things like that. I could share like my problems, my worries, and things like that. Yeah. So then they say, hey, why don't you become a member since you've been joining us for a few times? Oh, okay, all right, and there were very other compelling reasons, like I mean, for people in business, the access to outside Malaysia as well. We have our other clubs in different parts of the world, right? So that, yeah, those are valuable. It's valuable, and being able to network with people from different industries and also from even from different countries. Those are very valuable things to have as entrepreneurs, right? So anyway, yeah. So then one day somebody asked me whether I could step up to become a secretary. And
I wonder who.
Yeah.
I guess who it is.
Yeah. So I was like saying, what? But at first they asked whether I could be the treasurer, and I'm like, don't ever ask me to be in charge of numbers. It's something that I cannot wrap my head around, the accounting part of things, right? So I say I'll be the worst person for that. And then I think, as secretary, I think I can, right? So it's a very administrative role, really. I have to make sure that we meet all the ROS rules and regulations, and have our meetings, minutes, and all those things. So I think, I'm cut out for those kind of work as well. So I have no complaints about that. But the nice thing is, I get to contribute in terms of developing the community, the programs that we have. I'm actually very excited being a trainer, right? Being a trainer, I'm actually very excited that we started the IWFCIM Academy. All right, and then we'll be running courses and talks and things like that. Yeah. So I contribute some of my time over there as well. So I think moving forward, we want to be. We know we cannot be everything to everybody. But we want to be able to bring value to our members, and our members need it, because for 2 years hardly anything was happening in our business, and hardly anything was happening with the IWFCIM, except for our monthly meets, and which were all virtual most of the time, right? Yeah. So I think I'm looking forward, and I think Lala, I think you do see more
I
programs,
do.
including this one. Already something that is so brand new.
Yeah,
I was pretty nervous.
I literally put people on the hot seat for fun right now. Just to know what they do.
Yeah, I know, and you have to choose me, right?
Yeah, so a little bit of a teaser for everyone. We're just kind of like, what should we say? What should we do? I was just like, no, we talk like normal. Like how we usually talk about when you come for meetings. And this is what it is, right? It's really off the cuffs. You gotta understand that this community is the kind that loves to share. I don't think anyone has not shared something. Like if I wanted to ask a question, be it about business, marketing, whatever it was, they're like, oh yeah, I know what this was. This is what I did. This is what happened. I'm like, wow, that's really what I want to know.
Yeah, so like I said, happiness is in the journey, and I'm really enjoying this journey with IWFCIM. All right, so because I think the value systems that we carry, the IWFCIM carries, it's in line with my values, including the the sustainability and the CSR programs that we do. Yeah, so that's why I'm happy. With a little contribution that I make.
Oh my gosh, this was a really good segment. I'm sure everyone watching would feel the same way too. And this is what we want to know about our community members. And hopefully we'll get more people on board once they see how Gina winged it. According to her, she's like not ready, but she was totally ready for this, obviously. And until our next show. Thank you everyone for watching. And thanks so much, Gina, for your time. I really, really enjoyed this conversation. I'll see you soon for our next event.
Okay,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Lala.
Bye,
Okay, bye,
guys.
everybody.